David versus Goliath. As I'm sure you guys by now are well aware, this is the story that everybody's talking about, and that is the rogue group of Redditors with Robinhood accounts that recently teamed up Avengers style to bring down vulture funds, short sellers that were basically preying on GameStop for no reason. I mean, GameStop, a company that if you had done your homework and you had researched their, if you had researched the fundamentals of the company, you would have seen this is a company with a good, healthy, strong market position, very well managed in terms of the niche that they command as a brick and mortar in the only mainstream brick and mortar in gaming in the country. I mean, a company with honestly nothing but upside, and these really greedy, Wall Street professional goons decided to team up and bring the company to its knees by shorting 140% of its stock. And then, of course, a really savvy collective of retail investors, outsiders, misfits as they're being derided by the financial press, saw what was going on, looked into it, researched the fundamentals of the company, and determined that they were going to call these hedge funds, most notably Melvin Capital, we're going to call their bluff and bail out GameStop. And bail out GameStop they did. They all bought into GameStop's stock with long bets, some of them years old now. Some people put a lot of money in, and GameStop went from, I think, $5 purchase stock value earlier this month to $340, I think. Some people got really rich in that Reddit. Shout out to Deep Fucking Value, who's reportedly made $45 million. Many people have made hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on this trade. GameStop has become an overnight sensation. I believe it's absolutely killing it, crushing it on the market, and has wiped out single-handedly a lot of these vulture hedge funds that were, again, shorting it, trying to bring it to its knees, regardless of the real cost of human capital and jobs lost. And, a company ruined, and they got really greedy, and now those companies need a bailout. And in fact, $70 billion have been lost combined by these vulture hedge funds, these professional, Wall Street goons who prey on companies and always get their way. I mean, they're crying about market manipulation in this case, which is I don't disagree with. I think it's true that a lot of people basically colluding to come together to invest or buy or short, whatever the case may be, a stock is definitely manipulation. But how is that different from all these hedge funds joining forces to bankrupt an otherwise successful company for no reason whatsoever, other than for profit, just a naked profit play? I mean, the whole market is fake. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If anything, this has uncovered the depth to which not only the market is basically fake, but also how rigged it is in favor of the professional goons on Wall Street versus the outside retail investors that are being derided as misfits who just got in the game because many of them have a lot of time on their hands. It's now that obviously COVID has changed their lives, and they're bitter, and understandably so, and in many cases they're desperate. And to be clear, this is not investment advice. I don't want anyone to watch this and think that I am recommending them, advising them to get involved in this. It is gambling, basically. The market is basically a casino, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. But it just goes to show you that these so professional, uh, snowflakes, basically, that are valued by our society as special and better than, and superior. They're basically um, they're not smarter, or they're not any better at this than someone who literally has no experience. I mean, they just got outwitted. They just got checkmated. Let's keep it real. This was a checkmate. And they went crying for a bailout, and they went to their allies in the finance press, CNBC, Fox Business, the Wall Street Journal, to cry and moan for more regulations. The chair of the NASDAQ, which is one of the trading platforms, was invited on CNBC literally to compare these Redditors with Robinhood accounts to the Stop the Steal insurrectionists, which I think is obviously totally outrageous. But there you go. I mean, asking for regulation, which is the first time I think I've ever seen these people ask for regulation. Remember, these are the people that bankrupted, nearly tanked the global economy in 2008 with their recklessness, to the extent that they were artificially inflating the value of these junk bonds that were being propped up by predatory loans, and artificially jacking up their value until they could acquire a net short position, in which time they shorted the shit out of those bonds that were the pillar of the American economy, and single-handedly. And then what happened? They were bailed out, right? Those banks got money pumped into them from the Fed, and paid no consequences. None of them went to prison. They were bailed out, just as the large corporations were bailed out at the outset of the COVID outbreak, right? We saw the Treasury float them $500 billion loan, which was leveraged 10-1 by the Fed for a total of $4.5 trillion bailout. And we saw regular people go hungry. One lousy stimulus check for working families, and what for 7-8 months, but they got the bailout, and and they're asking for a bailout now, right? The SEC is already indicating that they are going to look into this. We've got the former SEC chair, Arthur Levitt Jr., former SEC chair under Bill Clinton, who presided over literally the dot-com bubble. We've got him indicating that the SEC needs to look into this and needs to regulate. So they're looking for a bailout. They're looking for regulation, which is something that you'll never see again from Wall Street. We've never seen it before. These are people that are really averse to, regulation of the free market. But, now that they got checkmated and crushed at their own game, bested at their own game, embarrassed by regular people with Redditors with Robinhood accounts, how the tables have turned. And this, if anything, uncovers the extent to which the entire economy and political system and regulatory system is fake. I mean, there's not a single price on Wall Street that's real. I mean, this whole thing is a sham. Robinhood responded to this by basically freezing out, restricting trading on GME, which is GameStop stocks, except to take a selling position. So obviously, allowing these big players in the market, these hedge funds that just got wiped out in many cases, like Melvin Capital, allowing them to short the stocks again in order to recoup some of their losses. A total of $70 billion lost. So giving them a second chance, which is not being afforded to the Redditors. Bloomberg Chat has not put a freeze on trading activity. Bloomberg Chat is the Wall Street funds that have access to Bloomberg terminals. That's their own version of the Reddit, where they get to trade offline, which is what the Redditors were doing. And no freeze on that activity. But Robinhood, which claims that its traders, the traders on its platform, claims that they're customers, but in reality doesn't charge them a dime. So you have to understand this. If you trade on Robinhood, You are not a customer. The way they make money is by selling your your information, your activity on their platform, your trading activity. They sell that to these hedge funds, so that they can get again an upper hand on the market, so that they can use what you're doing to inform their trading activity. So again, the double game there that Robinhood plays. Once you guys exploit, on Robinhood, once traders on Robinhood exploit whatever vulnerabilities the top dogs, the Wall Street sharks have by beating them at their own game, Robinhood intervenes, stops them from buying stocks. And not only Robinhood, E-Trade, Ameritrade restricted purchases of GameStop among other stocks like AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry. I've heard Blockbuster even in some instance. All these old school retailers. So yeah, no, retail investors jump in the game and outsmart and checkmate the Wall Street goons, and then immediately Robinhood says, no, we can't have that. And then what do you think happened? Robinhood, of course, was flooded with over 100,000 negative reviews, one-star reviews, bringing its average reviews on Google to 1 star. Which, what do you think happened in that case? Google, a big tech titan, intervened in that case to delete all those 1 star reviews. And now if you Google search Robinhood, you're going to see 4.5 star reviews again, totally ignoring the complaints of the people that were ripped off by Robinhood. Talk about a fraud. Ryan Grimm was saying on Twitter how, yes, everyone knows that the real Robinhood stole money from the rich to give it to the poor, and then broke in the back door of the poor's to steal from them and give money back to the rich again. It's like ridiculous, but no. And then you have again the collusion of the financial media, CNBC, comparing these this rogue band of misfits of retail investors again to the Stop the Stealers, and totally diminishing them, and saying, look, we need regulation, and totally crying, and then you see the government get involved, the SEC, Janet Yellen, who might have a conflict of interest given that she apparently took $800,000 in speaking fees within the last year from Citadel. Citadel, who basically, I believe, is the owner, runs the Robinhood app. So conflict of interest there, from the government, from the Treasury, Biden's Treasury Secretary. So you see the collusion between the media allies, which, by the way, you want to talk about market manipulation. That's how these people play their game. What they do is all these hedge funds say, just like those Redditors on Robinhood did, they say, okay, here's a stock. We're going to either sell it short or we're going to buy it. I'll give you an example. Bill Ackman, in March 2020, right before COVID, went on CNBC for an emotional interview in which he lamented that the market was going to basically tank, the economy was going to tank, hotel industry stock would drop to $0. Okay, he did that, and then within 2 weeks, what did he do? he shorted the hotel industry, so that when everybody started to sell stock in the hotel industry because of his appearance on that network, then he went and got rich off of that. So he went ahead and memed that market activity, that volatile market activity. He memed it into existence, which is exactly what these Redditors, Robinhood accounts are being accused of. Oh, they're memeing something into existence. Oh no, they're ignoring the market fundamentals. They're getting away from the market fundamentals and bullshit market fundamentals. GameStop was a healthy company with a strong market position and well managed. If you had bothered to do the research, you would have known that. You didn't. Instead, you guys all colluded to short over 140% of its stock, which is more stock than existed, thus memeing its failure into existence, just the way Bill Ackman did, cynically for his own personal monetary gain. And so he shorted the stocks that he knew he'd gone on TV and was seen by investors saying, yo, you got to sell off this hotel stock. This pandemic is going to hit. And then he made a bunch of money off the failure of the hotel industry, didn't he? So that's market manipulation. So the whole thing is, when we talk about market manipulation, that's the system working normally. That's the way the system works. The difference is that these Redditors don't have access to the SEC. They don't have access to CNBC and the media. They don't have access to the trading platforms. The NASDAQ CEO, literally, that's a trading platform saying, listen, we need more regulation. We got to do something. But they don't say the same thing about the Bloomberg chat. Only the Redditor chat. So yeah, the hedge funds lost $70 billion, and nobody feels bad. And that's the other thing. CNBC is acting like, like this is some great American tragedy. Oh no, they lost $70 billion. Yeah, that's called the free market. Like we owe these hedge funds. Nobody cares about the hedge funds or their feelings. Is this a meritocracy or not? Right? What's the American dream about? What's all the American cultural crowing about personal responsibility and hard work and the American dream? What's that all about if not allowing people to fail on their own? You guys got bailed out. You guys got stock pumped into you by the Fed in 2008 after you tanked the economy again at the outset of the COVID crisis, to say nothing of the $1.5 trillion transfer of wealth from the Trump tax cuts in 2017. And right now, these Redditors do the same thing, pump money into a failing, good, successful, well-run company like GameStop. And Robinhood freezes their ability to get richer off of that, to profit further off of that, in collusion with E-Trade and TD Ameritrade, and then go ahead and freeze their trading activity. And then when they go on to complain, and when they go on the Discord to form an offshoot of that Reddit, Discord blacks out. Oh no, hate language, hate speech, too much hate speech. Yeah, they don't say that about the Bloomberg chat, right? And then when they go ahead and complain and try to bring down Robinhood's ratings as they should in a free market, Google intervenes and says, no, you can't do that. Robinhood needs to continue to be successful and lucrative. And then you see collusion between the Treasury Secretary, potentially, we don't know yet which side Janet Yellen or the SEC is going to fall on this, but the SEC is saying, well, we might have to get involved in here. We can't have this. This is market manipulation. And so you see the way the game is rigged all the way around, right? All the way around. The hedge funds are not allowed to fail. The Redditors, now they exploit the one crack in the system, the one vulnerability that these hedge funds have, and they immediately and they immediately draw the ire of Wall Street, of their allies in the media, of the Robinhood, which dubs itself as democratizing the market, democratizing trading. Get the fuck out of here with that democratizing. It's all a scam, man. I mean, it's all market manipulation. I mean, if you're gonna take a stand against gambling, because again, the market is very much a casino, then do it on equal footing. Then take a stand, take an even stand across the entire market. But yeah, no, what these Redditors did is no different from what these vulture, Wall Street elitists do on the regular. I mean, they play with people's money all the time. They did it in 2008. You saw the way the Fed bailed out these large corporations that failed, that took their tax cuts from 2017 and basically used it to buy back their own stocks rather than invest in their products and their services, and used it to further exacerbate income inequality. And you saw those companies fail and get bailed out the second that COVID started. Bill Ackman goes ahead and gets rich off of COVID. Amazon has become an essential service off of COVID. The biggest players, the rich, have gotten richer. These hedge funds have gotten richer off of COVID as everyone else has struggled. And I think, if anything, that's what this is a story of, is the extent to which basically these elite, Wall Street titans, these professional goons would like to have a monopoly over market manipulation. And once you see regular people punch back, fight back, then you see the way the institutions rally. They say that when you're in chains, when you don't move, you don't realize that you're in chains. And that seems to be, I think, what this is more than anything uncovering is the extent to which we really have a two-tiered economic and political system. I mean, it's unbelievable, this story, um, to the extent that it really is. It really, really does shine a spotlight. This might be really the tipping point, in terms of people sort of realizing, how little power, how little freedom they really do have, how really uneven and um, fundamentally unjust and unbalanced and our economic and financial and political system really is. The collusion between players, the trading platforms, the regulators, the hedge funds, the financial media, the way they all are colluding and manipulating the market together in tandem, in concert. And then once a rogue group of Redditors, with Robinhood accounts, regular people go ahead and embarrass and straight up checkmate these so-called, special, uh, you know, uh, so-called special class, which is what they think of themselves as, is they're so special. They have like such utter contempt for like people with wages, like wage workers, and if obviously the employees of GameStop, whose livelihoods were at stake here with these ridiculous, outrageous shorting activity. Um, the extent to which these people really get to just run roughshod over the American economy, and regular people are totally powerless to stop them. Um, AOC is calling for an investigation. She sits on the Financial Services Committee in the House, and she's calling for an investigation into Robinhood's decision to stop, to tell GameStop to stop trading on its platform. Uh, I think that needs to be investigated. I know Elizabeth Warren is calling for regulation. Um, People have to be held accountable, guys. We can't have, the SEC is not supposed to look into why a stock doing well. Like, that's not the SEC's job. The SEC is supposed to look into fraud. You know what I mean? Like Enron and stuff like that. We're not, this is not, since when does the SEC get involved in a stock price soaring? That's not a thing. Um, Anyways, really, really interesting story. It's something that I've been really monitoring very closely the last few days, and really, um, really sharp commentary. Really insightful in terms of what it says about our form of crony capitalism, and um, how rigged the game truly is for working families and regular people versus that 1%.